Hi, I'm Mary Boyd, and I'm the National BGMC Coordinator for the Assemblies of God out of Springfield, Missouri. And if you have questions about anything we're going to talk about today or just in BGMC in general, please feel free to email me. My email is meboyd, B-O-Y-D, at ag.org. Okay? Well, this class is going to be titled Secrets to BGMC Success. And of course, I have one of my buddies here with me. Some of you watching this may be involved in BGMC, and I'm hoping I can challenge you to go to the next level. Some of you have maybe never done BGMC and want more information on that. So we'll cover all those things. So we're going to look at 10 different secrets to BGMC success to make it successful at your church. So let's talk about secret number 1, and that's passion. Did you know that passion is caught? And if you don't have passion for missions or for BGMC, neither will the kids. Too many times people think, oh, BGMC is just another program. Missions is not another program. Missions is the heartbeat of God. And when Jesus was talking on the earth, when he was here, he was always telling them to go into all the world, to reach the world, to go to the uttermost parts of the earth. Jesus cared about the whole world, and he wants us to care about the world. So you have to have a passion for it. You have to know in your own heart, you have to know, why are we teaching missions? Why are we teaching about BGMC? So I want to challenge you to have that passion. Secret number 2 is expose kids to missionaries. Do you know that most of our kids in the Assemblies of God have never truly met a missionary? We need to expose our kids to missionaries so they can see that missionaries are real people, even though there are heroes who are willing to go into uttermost parts of the earth, but we want kids to meet them and learn from them. So how do you do this? You should invite missionaries to speak at your church. Have them come on a Sunday morning or in your midweek service. You don't have to give them the whole service. You can just give them a window to speak to the kids, but it gives kids an opportunity to connect with them. Another good way to have a missionary in your ministry is to interview them. You ask them questions. How did you know you were to be a missionary? What's it like living in this country? What kind of food do you eat? What are the people there like? What is it like to tell people about Jesus? Stuff like that. So kids get a feel for missions and what's going on. Many times your churches will have a missionary come to your church and they just give them a 5 or 10 minute window in the adult service. Well, when that happens, ask if during the other part of the service, if the missionary can come into the children's area. Or if you have Sunday school classes, ask if the missionary can come to the classes during the Sunday school time. Or if the missionary can come down to the kids area during the worship service, and then they can go back up to the adult service or wherever they're at to share their passion, their burden. So another thing is to ask a missionary to speak to the kids during your missions convention. A lot of churches today have missions conventions, but what about the kids? Do they get a missionary to speak to them? So ask your church, ask your missions board. And a lot of times they don't think about it and like, yeah, that's true. We should have a missionary for the kids. Also, find out what missionaries your church supports. And then your kids can write to them, send packages to them. They can learn more about them. Have a BGMC banquet. Have a missionary speak at your BGMC banquet. Sometimes that's during a missions convention, other times it's not. You can have kids write to missionaries, and you say, well, how do they do that? In the BGMC curriculum, we give you addresses that you can write to missionaries. You can usually get that off the World Missions website as well. Now, of course, missionaries in sensitive areas and things like that, you won't find their contact information, but you'll have it. A lot of churches have that anyway of the missionaries they support because they regularly communicate with those missionaries. Oh, send missionary care packages. Have the kids gather stuff you could send to those missionaries for either the missionary family themselves or supplies that the missionaries can share with the people they minister to. And another way is to show missionary videos. Let kids see what's happening in the world. BGMC has lots of videos on our BGMC website. You go to bgmc.ag.org to our website to download videos. They're all for free. We have a YouTube channel where there's tons of videos, and it's Buddy Barrel. So you search for the Buddy Barrel YouTube channel and then subscribe to that. Number 3 secret to BGMC success is exposure to what BGMC does. We need to remind the kids and the adults that BGMC is the undesignated ready fund for missionaries and missions organizations. When kids know what their money is doing around the world, it makes them more apt to give. Now, that doesn't just mean giving to a specific project. And I know at times people, churches, kids want to give to a specific project, but the majority of BGMC funds are undesignated. What does that mean? It means it goes into a general BGMC fund, and then missionaries put in their requests and we have the money to draw from. We don't have to raise the money first in order for a missionary to receive funds. So when God opens a door or opens a ministry for a missionary, they can immediately request funds and get it because of that undesignated general fund. Anything that's designated for a project has to specifically go to that project. So you say, excuse me, you say, well, kids want to know where their money's going. Well, you share with them all the things that BGMC does, because their money, their giving will have a part in all of that. Many of the BGMC projects are ongoing, so share that with them. We have all kinds of testimonies on the BGMC website. We also put a lot of testimonies inside the BGMC curriculum to share. Number 4, set a church goal. Give the kids and yourself something to work towards. If you don't have a goal, it's just easy to throw a quarter in a Buddy Barrel and give it. But when you have a goal, it gives you something to work for. And I don't mean just flippantly set a goal. Pray about it. What does God want you to do? What is God challenging you to do by setting a goal? We have story after story of people who have prayed and God has given them goals that seemed so outrageous. But yet God knows where that money's coming from. They had no idea where the money was going to come from, but God did. And by setting a goal and presenting that goal to the church, it challenged people and money came in. I also want to challenge the Rural Rangers, those involved in that, to set goals through Master's Toolbox. Master's Toolbox is a part of BGMC, and their goals, the money they give, goes to the projects that Rural Rangers have established, but you also get BGMC giving credit for your church. Same with Girls Ministries. Challenge your Girls Ministries classes to set goals for Coins for Kids. Coins for Kids also selects a project every year, and the money given helps that project. And so challenge them to set a goal for the girls, and once again, all that giving is for BGMC. But you know, not just set a church goal, we really encourage you to have the kids set their own goal. Now, you don't want to just say, okay, kids, set a goal, because, you know, some kids are, $1 million. No, we want them to pray about their goal. We want them to hear about God, hear from God concerning their goal, because kids can hear from God. And you know, that just solidifies in their heart how real God is. It's a God moment when a child realizes that God has just challenged them to give $100, or God has challenged them to give $1,000. And then as the money comes in and things are done, kids are so excited, and it really helps them to see how real God is. BGMC has goal cards for the kids. These are free. These are cards you can pass out to the kids. You can either have them pray and fill them out right there in your ministry, or you can send them home and then have them bring them back the next week, or if they get home, have new ones for them the following week to fill out. And it also has a tear away part on there so they can put it in their Bible. It's like a bookmark to remind them of what their goal is. But you want to challenge them to set goals. Sometimes a yearly goal is hard for kids because 12 months is it's like eternity, you know. So you might want to challenge them to set a monthly goal. How much can I do every month for BGMC? Is it $10? Is it $50? Sometimes a good challenge is to do per month the age of the child. So if the child's 10 years old, challenge them to do $10 a month. So, but have them pray about it. Get God involved in that. Another secret is, if you are too busy to put the time into BGMC and you feel like you can't do it justice, then appoint a BGMC coordinator. Find somebody in your church who has a passion for missions, who loves missions, who wants to challenge the kids to do things for missions. Because don't forget, passion is caught. The kids are going to catch the passion of the person in charge and the person presenting this to them. So find somebody who's willing to do that. Maybe it's an older person in your church. Maybe you have some retired missionaries in your church. Maybe you have some missionaries attending your church. Maybe you have people in your church from other countries who are there and they would love to get involved with missions and missions projects for the kids. So find somebody to help you, to work alongside of you. We also suggest you have a monthly missions emphasis of some sort. Have an emphasis. So that means you're going to teach about missions at least once a month. Have an emphasis. So pick a Sunday if it's the first Sunday of the month, the last Sunday of the month. Pick a Wednesday if you have a Wednesday night service. Maybe your missions emphasis is on Wednesday. But whatever it is, we want you to stay faithful. Excuse me. So stay faithful with it. Don't just have a missions emphasis one month and then forget about it the next month, because then the kids will forget about it. Sorry. We believe there's a 5-step process to teaching kids about missions. And this is a part of the secret of the success of BGMC. BGMC doesn't exist to just take offerings from kids. The main purpose of BGMC is to give kids a heart of compassion for the lost and for the world. And we believe it's a 5-step process. First of all, kids have to know about what's going on. They have to know about the needs of the world. They have to know that there's kids in Africa who drink filthy, dirty water every day and they need clean water wells. Kids have to know there's people around the world who have never heard about the name of Jesus and will never have an opportunity to get to heaven. They have to know. Once they know, they start to care. They care about those kids who don't have food to eat. They care about those kids who have no parents and sleep in the streets. They care about those people who will never go to heaven without Jesus. And the first response for those kids is to pray. We need to give them opportunities to pray. Challenge them to pray. Prayer doesn't cost anything but time. And then once they pray, they want to do more, and that's when they start to give. And some people will say, oh, I can't get my kids to give. I can't get them to bring their buddy barrels back. Well, you know what? It's because they don't know and they don't care. They haven't caught that heart of compassion. They haven't caught that heart for the lost and the needy of the world. You know, the Bible's full of verses that tell us to care about the poor. We're supposed to do our part. God blesses us, we're to bless others. So they want to give, and we want to challenge the kids to give. We just don't want kids going up to mom and dad asking for an offering. We want kids to sacrifice for their missions offering. We want them to give up of their time, and they're going to do that by getting involved. We want kids to not give all their birthday money or all their Christmas money, but they can give some. We adults sacrifice when we give to missions, so we want to teach kids to do that as well. And then once they give, they really are concerned about reaching the lost. Every year, BGMC provides a curriculum for our Assembly of God churches. This curriculum is free for our churches. Other denominations use our curriculum. They have to pay for it. This curriculum features 13 elementary and 13 preschool lessons. And we suggest you teach it once a month. There's a bonus lesson in case you need an extra lesson. But in these lessons, we are highlighting a particular country or one of our Assemblies of God missionary organizations like Convoy of Hope or Africa Oasis Project or Africa's Hope, different ones like that. This curriculum is free for you, and it contains great stuff. There's actually enough material in here to do a full mission service once every Sunday for the whole month, for every month. A full lesson. We give you object lessons. We give you recipes you can make for the kids and skits and all kinds of information. It's PowerPoint driven, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. But the lessons come available on DVD, but we also have them available as a digital download. And if you're an Assemblies of God church and you would like to have that download for free, if you email me at meboyd@ag.org, I will give you the code to enter into so you can get the lessons for free. Starting next year in 2021, all of the churches will be given the code automatically, and all the lessons will be available only by digital download. Now, I know some of you are saying, oh, I don't like to do that, I can't do that. We still will have a small amount of DVDs available. You'll need to contact our office to let us know that. Or we still have some of the print editions available. We still have some churches that prefer that. And once again, that's available as well. So let's look at the lessons. These lessons are PowerPoint driven, and they're powerful. It starts out with a great BGMC countdown. That's all update, great music. I'm not playing it now because I want to go through this quick. I'm going to show you some of these slides, and this is Cambodia. Now, as I'm talking, when we get to this point, there's a video clip embedded into the PowerPoint. And by it, once again, for all of you that use some type of worship software, all those files are also separate, so you can put them into your software programs, your presentation programs, I should say. And it has a video clip about that country so the kids see what life is like. We're telling them about the country, stats about the country of missionaries we have there. Now, this particular PowerPoint is over 100 slides long, which I'm not going to show you all of them. But we do this so kids get familiar with what the country is like. We find out that once kids learn about these countries, what the people eat, what they do, that the Holy Spirit works on their hearts. And we've had many kids called to be missionaries because of these BGMC lessons. The next section is called Cambodians Need Jesus, or whatever country we're talking about. And we tell them why these countries need Jesus. Why do we have missionaries there? This particular country, mostly the people are Buddhists. So we tell them what the Buddhist religion is like, what they believe, what the people there do as they worship these Buddhas, so that the kids understand why we need to have missionaries there and what the missionaries do who go there. They set up schools or clinics, they have churches, they're training people in these. We have Bible schools they work at, they minister to kids. So we show them all these things that are going on in the country. And then one of my favorite parts too is we show them what BGMC has done in that country. We have actual photos of the projects and things that BGMC has done to help. This children's home, BGMC provides them with the rice they need to eat, the clothing. We have the schools, the desks, the computers the kids need, medical supplies. We help them with painting their school there so it looks nice. It's a combination school and children's home for orphans there in Cambodia. So I'm going through this quickly, but you could see, oh, I have to show you this one. So in the children's home there in Cambodia, they asked BGMC if they could have money to build a playground. We said sure, and little did we know, they went and built a buddy barrel slide. They had it all created there in Cambodia, and as you can see by that picture, it's really a cool slide. And that's like a big BGMC ball cap that Buddy's wearing. Well, recently the school had to move, so they tore down the whole playground to move with them, including moving Buddy. Buddy got moved to the new location. But we'll provide bikes and generators and stuff for our Bible schools, all this. And when you show the kids all this, they get to see all the things that their money is doing and how important it is to give to BGMC. So this is a favorite part, you know, and even if you don't teach the whole BGMC lesson, you should have some sort of missions window every month. Have an emphasis of some sort. Maybe you just show the slides of what BGMC has done in that country so that the kids get an idea. Kids don't realize all the things their BGMC money does and how important it is. And look at this one. This particular school made a sign saying, "Thank you, BGMC, for helping them so much at that school." A part of the lesson gives you prayer requests. You can divide up the kids. And the next part, my next real favorite part of each lesson, we have a true mission story of a miracle God has done in that country. And these are powerful stories that we get from our missionaries. And we hire an artist then who draws the photos for these stories. The stories are on the PowerPoint, audio recorded. So all you have to do is put on the story and it'll automatically advance, and it has music and sound effects to tell the story. But you can also turn that all off and tell the story in your own words. Now I've turned it off on this one. This one's called Food for a Cat. It's one of my favorite stories because I love cats anyway. But we had 2 kids there in Cambodia who were new Christians, and they didn't have much food to eat. And so they decided they would even tie these scarves around their stomachs because they would have such pains from hunger that they had. So they said, why don't we pray and ask God if He could provide some food for us because we are so hungry. Now this family owned a cat. And after they got done praying, the cat jumped in through the window carrying a fish in its mouth. And the brother and sister looked at each other and they thought, is God providing us with food? And they thought, no, the cat must have got it from somebody. Because in Cambodia, it's water everywhere. And where they live, their houses were even on stilts. And so people catch the fish, and they don't have refrigeration, so the fish is put out to dry in the sun, and they'll put salt and stuff on it, and they eat the fish. Well, the cat comes with a fish in its mouth, so they thought surely the cat must have taken somebody's fish from one of the neighbors, and they thought that would not be right for us to eat it. So they went from neighbor to neighbor asking if they were missing a fish because their cat had brought home a fish, and maybe this was their fish. Every neighbor said, no, it's not our fish. Excuse me. So they realized God had provided the fish, that cat brought them a fish and they got to eat that fish and it took away all their hunger pains, and they just thanked Jesus. The boy's name was Soti. This is a picture of Soti today. He got saved as a child, and he found out how real God was by God providing the food for him. And this is his family now. And Soti is a pastor and works with the Assemblies of God there in Cambodia. And he learned to trust God all because of a cat who provided food for them, and God using the cat to do that. These are the type of true mission stories we have with every lesson. I love these stories. If nothing else, share these stories with the kids once a month. Let them get a feel of what it's like for that country and get a feel for the power of God as they hear these tremendous stories. Well, we also give you a scripture picture, which is pictures to represent words to a Bible verse. Now I'm showing you the whole thing here at once, but it's made so you can click in for each word separately as the kids figure out who it is, what the words are. We also give you a video where the Bible verse is set to high-tech music and backgrounds for the kids to learn the verse. And then for every lesson, we create a button for that country or that ministry. And we encourage the kids to collect the buttons, and you can use the buttons to give out to everybody who's there, everybody who gives an offering that month, everyone who commits to praying for that country that month. You can give them a button. Number 7 secret is big events. And what do I mean by big events? That means you're holding some big events to raise money for BGMC. We do a yearly theme, and this year's theme is Count on Me. We have our annual campaign during the month of March called March Missions Madness, called Lost Change for Lost Souls. We encourage the whole church to be saving their lost coins, because all those coins will equal souls. National BGMC Day is celebrated the second Sunday in March every year, and we encourage churches to take up an offering from their adults on that day and present BGMC to all the adults on that Sunday, if possible. But we have children's pastors that do all kinds of creative things to raise money. And that's another secret, to have an event, to challenge them. This one got covered in sticky, gooey stuff when the kids reached their goal. Another one did a polar plunge. People, children's pastors, children's leaders have lived up on billboards or on the roof of their church for a week raising money. Children's pastors who get goals set may shave their head or dye their hair. This person, when the kids met their goal, he got a pineapple haircut and had to wear it for several weeks everywhere he went. And boy, did he get the comments. But you know what? It opened lots of doors for him to share Jesus and share about missions. Maybe run a marathon, have a dunk tank, jump out of an airplane, take a bath in ketchup. The kids buy bottles and packets of ketchup and they get to dump it on you for a BGMC offering. Or if they meet their goal, you're going to kiss a pig. But you know, kids can do their own events as well too. So we suggest it's fun to do an event once or twice a year with the whole church involved with you. But you can start them when they're young, the kids. You know, for your babies, BGMC makes onesies and toddler-sized shirts. When a baby's being dedicated, give them a onesie. Give them a Buddy Bear, a stuffed one, a big one, or a little one. Start them young. Encourage kids. They do garage sales. They make things to sell. Emma came up with the idea that for every $10 raised, she would crack a raw egg on her dad's head. And she raised almost $3,000 doing that. So kids can do incredible things. Another secret to success is provide awards and incentives for the kids. We have a BGMC catalog. If you don't have yours, you can download it from the BGMC website. You can contact our office. We'll mail it to you. I believe you can just order it from the GPH web store or the My Healthy Church web store. But the catalog is all full of all kinds of BGMC products you can buy for the kids, for prizes, for incentives. BGMC is all kinds of buttons. Kids like incentives. They like to be awarded. We have pins and ribbons and all kinds of stuff you can get to award the kids. There are certificates on the BGMC website that you can download and fill in the kids' names. So there's all kinds of things to do. So award the kids. Have a BGMC ceremony. Don't just award kids for the amount of money they've given, but also award them for being faithful. So maybe you give an award to a kid who's brought an offering every month. Doesn't matter how much it is. We want to teach them to be faithful in their giving. So think about ways like that. And of course, you can do some challenging for dollar amount. But lastly, My time's running out. You need to stay informed. Go to the BGMC website. There's all kinds of ideas and testimonies, resources. You can find us online. Our BGMC Facebook page is what we do to keep you informed on everything going on. We have testimonies, all kinds of stuff. We have our YouTube channel. We have Twitter. We have Instagram. So do all these things.